motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve.
I will second. Roll calling.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Vicki?
Yes. Okay. Water resources, I think is next.
Motion to
Yes,
adjourn.
Laura?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my fault. I'll move to adjourn solid waste.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kathleen.
It's okay.
Second. Roll calling.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Vicki?
Yes. Now come on up.
So we have one item discussion, and that's our computer maintenance management software, it's the CMMS system. And we had brought it up during our quarterly meeting last week that this was going to be going forward. So it's called e-maintenance, and we had been reviewing around 7 of these CMMS systems to determine which one would be the best fit for the department in terms of cataloging our assets and doing the asset management portion, which we've been doing ourselves. We've been trying to find a software system that would assist with that, but also provide a mobile platform so that our GIS data could eventually be integrated into that. And it'll help our field staff also have access to these tools, and it'll create the work orders that we were looking for. And a lot of the systems that we reviewed had the work order component to it, but what they didn't have was the mobile platform. And with the majority of our staff being field oriented, we needed that mobile platform. And it's taken us since January to iron out all of the kinks with the different software companies and kind of do a analysis and break down which one would be the best fit. And e-maintenance, one vote from us. We just want to move forward and enter into an agreement with them, and we'll process that if that's.
Well, it appears you folks have really vetted this, so
We did.
I gotta tell you, Laura, I did not read all of this.
It's okay. I just provided
read
the
the letter,
background
yeah.
and a little bit of the highlight points for the software system. I didn't know if you guys were interested in that, but we did look through a lot of them, and some of them were more geared towards an industrial application. So say you have a manufacturing plant and you have, 100 of them throughout the country, but you can gear each of your products to your individual manufacturing plant. But we are a little bit different. We're spread throughout the county. We don't have just one building where everything's located at, and so we really had to ask the right questions, vet them out properly so that we could make sure that what we were going with could be used countywide. And that was a little bit of a difficulty with some of these, and we also wanted it to be cost effective because there are some larger systems, like CityWorks is one that a lot of municipalities use, but the cost of that was it was cost prohibitive for us to enter into that. And we were trying to find something that would work and that mobile platform was already there, and e-maintenance was that one. So, and they also seem to have good
The training.
customer service and the training too, because
that's
we didn't,
really important.
yeah, and it was offered online, and we liked that tool too, because we didn't want to have to be sending staff or our main trainers out of state if we didn't have to. And it seems like this is online, and we already went online and tried their e-maintenance university out, and it turned out that it actually was helpful. And some of the online trainings that we looked at didn't really give us a good feel for what we would be applying to our staff. So.
Can I just ask what
Yeah.
what the contract includes and for how long as far as service?
Right, so the services that we'll be getting, and I think I attached that as well, and we're still, it has to go through Joanne's group too, so we have to still go through that whole process, and we have to have them sign everything. Legal did review everything. So this provides the year, and so we would have to redo a year, but it provides the users, and that was another item that we had to go through with the different companies, how many users we would be getting and how many licensed users, because that mattered. Because then we can have different levels of users. And they did give us 16 users, but there's different categories of users. So some of those that we can enter into the system can just be viewers. So they can't create, they're not official users, but they're viewers of the work order. They can't assign a work order, they can't change a work order, they can't, finish a work order or sign off on it. So we'll be getting, that's the one price point in here. And then we also get the full year, and that's another thing that I had not known if we have to keep renewing it, but I think once we get the system, it's not this much every year.
Okay.
And with each system, they also give us online assistance, they give us the training for the new users, so we get access to the online university, we get access to technical support, I think it's a 24-hour
Online,
technical
or
support.
can you call people?
We can call people,
Okay.
and they have, we will be assigned staff for us, so then we'll have a contact person, and when we contact them, it's like a help desk, they'll queue it to a support person if they can't help us directly. And we liked that because some of them, we were able to try out some of these, and I know Lee and Don West did try out each one that we reviewed, so we got like a sample platform to utilize, and it was like a training system, and we did use that. And this one was the best one that we felt would fit for what we needed and to offer assistance long-term, so to say we do run into problems, because the previous one we were running into that if we had a problem, we weren't seeing that we were getting a response, or they kept wanting to, ask for more items from us, and we had already created most of our database. We have everything inventory. We just need to get this into the system and do something with it. And this also includes that data is ours. So say we need to extract that data and provide it to, say the EPA wants us to generate a report. We can export all the data, all the work orders are tracked and logged. So they'll provide that service too, and they house our data, but it's also our data to keep. It's in the cloud, but it's our data.
Mm-hmm.
So we can back it up, and I know Lee has already said that, I think every 2 weeks he wants to back that, extract the data and put it into his own spreadsheet so that we have that data regularly. But they've guaranteed that data won't get lost in any way tampered with. So they've offered security services too.
So when you purchased the software previously, did the costs compare?
The cost kept going up. So we had met with them, and that was the other software company that Express Maintenance was purchased by Manufactured Asset Solutions, and that's the one that was geared more towards a manufacturing industrial setting. I don't know if they had very many public clients, and they were trying to build the system to meet our what we had set out in our scope, I guess, of services. And as they were moving forward in doing this, and especially with the mobile platform, it just didn't seem that they had the expertise at that point for a public agency, and they kept asking for more. And so I think in January was when we decided to let them finish out what we had already paid them for, and Don West continued to use that for the vehicles. But for the rest of our assets, we decided to start looking elsewhere, especially for pumps, because a pump will be at a pump station. It's not a mobile pump, but we need to know what services were done on that pump, and we have 104 pump stations, so it seemed for that company to take on 104 different addresses and facilities. They weren't really grasping what we were intending to do with this. And that was to make it so each pump station is a separate entity, and when the pumps
And will there be a
replaced-
maintenance, like, okay, this pump needs maintenance, will you get an alert or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we wanted the preventative maintenance to be tracked, but we also want predictive maintenance. So as we use the system and say we put a pump in, and we try to keep it the same manufacturers of pumps, we'll know that this pump station had 3 pumps replaced. So in the future, we'll know after so many gallons pumped, we may need to do additional services on it, or look for that we'll be replacing that pump. Pump replacement doesn't happen very often because there's other things you can replace in pumps to keep them going. It's not just an automatic replacement, so that's why the predictive maintenance component of this was very advantageous to us too, because eventually we'll know, okay, so after so many years or, life years for that pump, we'll know to expect a replacement, and we'll build that into
The budget.
the budget, so that we'll know how many pumps we need to keep on hand or to order, because you don't wanna have too much, because then as the pumps sit there and they're not being used and they're just in stock, they're not usable, and so if you have them on the shelf for 10 years and you're just like, well, let's buy more, that same pump might not work, the same way because it's been stored for 10 years. So that predictive maintenance was a benefit of this one, and other ones didn't really offer that. They offered the preventative maintenance tracking, but the predictive maintenance was what we were really hoping to get out of it too. And the work orders as well, because now we can actually track how long a staff would be spending working on a work order, because they'll have to, on their phone, they'll have to sign off on it and say, this task was completed, and at the end, the supervisor will be able to see just how long of it that task took, so we'll be able to pre-plan out when we assign tasks to staff in the future, because we'll have real data, not just an estimate, well, I think I left at this time, or I think it took this long, and it'll help with staff planning as well for hours.
Sounds good.
We're excited.
Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
See what we come to you.
Okay.
Allison and I are trying to work through the signatures.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. See ya. Okay, we'll recess for maybe 5 minutes. The sheriff's coming in at 9:20, hopefully.